Sibelius, I think, is classic, and I think Sibelius deserves and needs to be considered as a standard repertoire. It is, unfortunately, and especially in some countries, like, for example, France and Germany, Sibelius is slightly less played, even though it is played, but slightly less. In England, in America, it's played more. Perhaps it has something to do with the fact that Sibelius had very strong supporters in the conducting world who worked in England and worked in America. Sir Thomas Beecham, Ormandy, Stokowski, Barbirolli, they were all the people who really loved and promoted Sibelius's music. More and more it's coming back to France. If I can help it, it will be even more and more in Germany. If you look at the 20th century French music, one should not forget that French music didn't start with Ravel and French music didn't start with Debussy. This is the kind of it's a misleading information. The French music started 200 years before that, 300 years before, even before, starting from Lully and so on. So everything that we now trying to bring back to Orchestre de Paris, especially the romantic French music that has been neglected, actually neglected by French orchestras and by French conductors. For example, Dukas, for example, Chabrier, for example, Gounod. Most of Bizet is not played. Most of Saint-Saëns is not played. A lot of wonderful music needs to be brought back and need to be rethought a little bit and put into the historic context. So if we look at the connection between Sibelius and romantic French music, there's a lot of connections because that music all is influenced somewhat by the history of music in general. It's obviously that César Franck is somewhat Germanic in his thinking. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it is not absolutely French, even though one can make a very big distinction between Swiss or French. For me, it is the language, it's the understanding of certain French qualities which I completely hear in César Franck, but I also can hear a certain Germanic influence, romantic influence, Wagnerian influence. Same exact line and words could be said for Sibelius. Sibelius, you hear something very, very Finnish, but you also hear something Wagnerian, you also hear something Russian. There is a complete connection with Tchaikovsky, but it doesn't mean it's derivative. It is all music grows out of something else. And looking for something that has no connection to the past, to me is a waste of time, basically. It is everything's connected. And I think that even if you look at music by Messiaen, which we are also continuing by this year, we are taking it to Vienna, and Dutilleux, it's all connected to the French music from the past. So I think that one should stop categorizing and looking for the individual pieces that really are worth performing and to be performed again. And a lot of them are not deserving the neglect that they are receiving now.